Exterminate! The Dalek race is supreme! All hail the Daleks! Welcome to the Supreme Daleks channel! Greetings, people of Earth. My name is the Dalek Supreme. Today, we are going to be reviewing all 3 Cyberman episodes from Haunting of Villa Diodati to The Timeless Children. Now, before we start this review, I have been experiencing some lag on the monitor, so don't worry. What's going on? Stop this now.
And, wait, before we start this review, something's going wrong with the camera. It's all going fuzzy. Hello, humans. I am the Cyber Controller, and welcome to Cyber Reviews. That's right, we have taken over the Supreme Daleks channel for this specific purpose. We do have our own channel. It is called the Cyber Controller. If you want to subscribe, click the link below. So, in this cyber review, we will be reviewing 3 episodes, as the Supreme said. We will be reviewing the Villa Diodati, the Ascension of the Cybermen, and of course, the Timeless Children. Wait, what are you doing? Hey, stop this! Take him away, Cyberman. No, you can't do this! This is my show, this is my channel, you can't take this away from me! No. Since we hacked into his account using cyber technology, we are going to be reviewing the first episode first. And it has us, the Cybermen. So the episode begins in Lake Geneva 1816, where apparently Mary Shelley and Lord Byron are thinking what to do to pass the time so that the rain doesn't make them bored, basically. He also did a book called She Walks in Beauty. Another is Byron's Poems, and apparently The Prisoner of Chillon was a book as well. Here are some of the quotes he used. Sorrow is knowledge. Those that know the most must mourn the deepest. The tree of knowledge is not the tree of life. Adversity is the first path to truth, and friendship is love without its wings. Now, Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley, also known as Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, was an English novelist who wrote Gothic novels such as Frankenstein or The Modern Prometheus. She also edited and prompted works with her husband, Percy Bysshe Shelley, who is also in this episode. Now, who is this Percy? I will move back to Mary Shelley in a moment. I don't know why I stuttered, but never mind. Percy Bysshe Shelley was an English romantic poet who is regarded by some as among the finest lyric and physiological poets in the English language, and one of the most influential. He wrote many books such as Ozymandias, King of Kings. So it was him, yes. He did one famous quote that was used in the Alien movie, Alien Covenant. And here's the quote from that famous book that Percy Shelley wrote. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty in despair. Nothing beside remains. Round of decay of that colossal wreck boundless and bare, alone and level sands stretch far away. Now, for Mary Shelley, we all know she wrote Frankenstein, but she also wrote The Last Man, the Valpegra, Matilda, not to be confused with Roald Dahl's Matilda, and The Mortal Immortal. Yes, stories about unknown presences and murders and ghosts and ghouls and that, but apparently, while inside the house, the maid inside Villa Diodati feel like someone is watching them from beyond the darkness, from beyond the grove. Then we then cut to Lord Byron, Percy Shelley and Mary Shelley getting shocked because the Doctor and the others appear for some reason, and it's somehow some kind of jump scare. We're off to a very interesting start, aren't we? Then we discover the Doctor's new ability with the sonic screwdriver. Apparently it can be used as a hairdryer. Then, while they are getting a tour around the villa, the Doctor tells the team that they do not need to interfere with past events because it will break reality. Then they had a dance sequence, and apparently Lord Byron fell in love with the Doctor, but remember, this is Series 12, so the Doctor would usually be kind of hateful towards him or something. Then the maid, no wait, she was not a maid, she was a nanny, and apparently the nanny discovered that an invisible floating piece of pottery tried to attack her. Then the Doctor notices that two people from the party were missing. And then we get this long and pointless scene of Graham trying to find the lavatory, and while that happens, ghosts are following him. Also, it would seem that Graham is being confused because inside this house there is another house which is basically a maze, which is basically a perception filter. So basically they keep being in the same room. Then Yaz catches one of the guests trying to get inside, and we get to a scene where Lord Byron basically flirts with the Doctor. Then Ryan somehow wants to play piano. Oh God, no. No thanks. Then we get another scene of Byron trying to have sex with the Doctor. Then Ryan causes a fight with one of the humans. But then, after that, he actually does get into a fight with a bony hand. The doctor comes in, whacks it, finds out it's bone, and then enter Lord Byron's room because he's been keeping living skeletons who apparently resemble Sans. Then the doctor wears a helmet from the Battle of Waterloo. Then the perception filter kicks in, and they all try and find a way to get out of their problems. Luckily, the way to do that is by closing their eyes. Then, of course, the guy who was trying to fight Ryan earlier got possessed and then entered the room the doctor, Lord Byron, and the doctor were. Yeah. Then the perception filter is broken, and we look out a window and we spot the greatest thing in the universe, a lone Cyberman. Apparently the Cyberman is looking for something. It is called Cyberium, and it gives the Cyberman their power. It's kind of an energy drink, and they basically created this panic room to basically trick the Doctor and Ryan and Graham and Yaz. Yes, that's how the Doctor described it. But yes, the Cyberium, it's what gives them, it's what gives us our power. And apparently Percy Shelley, who was missing from the party, has this Cyberium that the Cyberman needs. So then we get a confrontation with the Doctor while the Cyberman is telling her all this. I mean, the Cyberman gets electrocuted and recharges in a way. So in a way, lightning recharges us, kind of like how charged creepers do it. Then we find Percy Shelley, who is a bit scared because no one can see him. Yeah, apparently for humans, Cyberium turns people invisible, so that's why he was infected in the river. Yes. And then the Cyberman appears and tells Mary Shelley that he is better than man. Really, Chibnall, you're going to do this to me again, really? Why? But then we realize his backstory. We reveal his backstory. Apparently he was once human, but apparently he tried to he saved Mary Shelley's son, baby, because apparently he believes that the baby was worthless and he needed bigger fish to fry. But then the Doctor jumps in, steals the Cyberium, because even though she can't win, at least she'll try to win. But apparently Time Lord magnetism does not work, and the Cyberman says, if you don't give me the Cyberium, I will call my family and they'll destroy you. But then the doctor doesn't win. She gives him the Siberium and then flies away. As for Shelley, he's alive, he's safe. And then at the end, they all say their goodbyes, and apparently one of the guests says, "I won't fall for your charms anymore." Oh God. And Graham asks the doctor, were the ghosts real? And the doctor says, maybe, yeah. Yeah, so it could be possible that the ghosts were real, that ghosts are real. And then we get an interesting speech from Byron and telling the doctor that she is the universe. Well, that was quite interesting, might I say.
Hey, what are you doing?
Wait, I thought I captured you.
You can't get rid of me that easily, cyber controller. Now, exterminate.
No, wait, don't exterminate me yet.
Alright, I'll let you live, but only for the review. So, what did I think of it first? Well, I must say, some of the shots were good, the cast was good, Ryan was a plank of wood, which I had no emotion, no character, improv. Come on. Graham was just there, and Yaz was just there but had more character for some reason. The secondary characters, they were alright. Some were god awful to know. Some were hard to remember. Some were just terrible. There were some scenes like the woke scenes that made me just want to cringe and just forget about. I really didn't want to do that. Some of the creep factors in this are good, yeah. Up until the Cyberman, that was good, yeah, indeed. But having the Doctor lose for once is good, yeah, which means we are superior again. Which means that could happen to us one day. So, what rating would I give this? I don't know what to think of this one. It's good, but... Well, what did you think, Cyberman?
Well, I think I was represented quite well, but as you said, there were some woke scenes, like the bit where he says, "I am better than man." Also, we used a line from from Endgame, which was, "We are inevitable." Yeah. I don't know why Chibnall decided to do that. Some of the lines I said, some of the lines Simon said, like, that's better, or I'm going to kill everyone, or yeah, it wasn't good. No.
So, the rating I would give would be possibly an 8 out of 10. Okay, moving to Ascension of the Cybermen. So the episode begins with Asher telling us the traumatic and dark history of the Cybermen and the Cyber Wars that came. And as that happens, a Cyberman helmet just zooms in. And it's all in space, just so you know. You probably wonder who Asher is. Well, Asher is the Cyberman we saw in the last episode. Called The Haunting of Villa Diodati. And apparently, he wants revenge. He wants revenge. All Cybermen want revenge. So then we, after the title sequence, we cut to a man finding a baby. And this baby is named Brendan, and apparently Brendan, there's been a lot of theories on who Brendan is. People say, now get this straight, people say he's the Doctor. And I mean the Doctor. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you know how like Ruth was the Doctor. Well, he could also be the Doctor. And I have a theory. This theory could be that maybe this Doctor is like a clone of a Doctor or something. Possibly. Yeah. That's my impression. And then we get this like life story. Maybe like, I don't know, Brendan could be like the first of this clone Doctor, and Ruth could be, I don't know, later on down the line, maybe a 13th incarnation. I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, we get a life story of Brendan. Which should have been basically a separate episode. And then we cut to the Doctor, Ryan Groman, basically using some tech to find the Cybermen and Asher, and basically the rest of the human race, what's left of it, because right now the Cybermen have basically conquered Earth and wiped out nearly all of humanity. So yeah, they use these machines. One is a neutral inhibitor. Another is a particle projector. And apparently, they're trying to find gold, because apparently Cybermen are allergic to gold now for some reason. Yeah. Worst weakness ever. So then the survivors tell the Doctor that apparently the Cybermen have basically wiped out all of humanity, and only a few remain. And that is kind of where my problem with this episode arises, because what you're essentially doing, Chipnall, is turning the Cybermen into the Daleks. They're basically ripping off the Daleks right now. In fact, they've been doing this for years, since, ever since after Doomsday and Army of Ghosts, they've been doing this, yeah. Ever since the Next Doctor, they've basically been copying the Daleks, which, frankly, that's a bit copyrightable, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it, Russell T. Davis, Stephen Moffat, and Chris Chibnall? Yeah, they've been doing this for centuries. I don't know why they keep doing it. Okay, and here's a checklist to why they are doing that. Well, firstly, they have a catchphrase, delete, yeah, check. They fly, check. They destroy humanity and leave nothing left, check. You see where I'm going with this. Next thing I know, they'll use force fields and have sucker sticks. That hasn't been checked yet, but you see where I'm going with this. They're basically becoming Daleks, knock-off Daleks, yeah. And it's explained perfectly by the Cyberdrone head things, yes. Apparently, the Cybermen use drones now. You see where I'm going with this. And apparently they brought back the old Lumic Cybermen. The old Lumic Cybermen. And apparently the cyber drones killed basically one of the survivors. And then the Doctor tells Ryan, Graham and Yaz to head back to the TARDIS because this is her fight, not theirs. And then we see Asher again, and the Doctor finds out that the Lumic Cybermen are also alive. And they also use the iconic catchphrase, "You will be deleted." Yes. You can see why. Then Ryan, Graham and Yaz all run away from the Cybermen, and they basically act as bait while the Doctor thinks up plans. And then Graham and Yaz then end up on the survivors' ship, while Ryan is left behind accidentally. Stupid Ryan, why does he do that? So then Ryan meets up with the Doctor and hides with the Doctor, and then Asher looks around for survivors, and then one of the survivors gets killed by Asher. And then we cut to a scene where the Doctor and Ryan and another survivor end up on one of the cyber ships, which I must say look pretty cool. And then Asher notices that the ship has been stolen. And then we cut back to Brendan. Another scene where Brendan becomes a police officer. And then everybody leaves Earth. The survivors leave Earth to head to the asteroid planet. And the Doctor and Ryan and one of the survivors travel to a planet which kind of reminisces The Last Jedi, which is not a good movie. So then Asher hacks into the telecom and tells the Doctor we are going to find you and your friends and basically delete you, basically. Then we get another scene with Brendan as a police officer, and apparently he falls off a cliff after being shot, but apparently he's alive for some reason. And then we cut to Ryan and Yaz trying to fix the ship and set the coordinates to the cyber asteroid thing, which kind of looks like Demon's Run, if I must say. Then Asher and the other Cybermen arrive to the asteroid too. And then we get a scene where the Doctor meets like an old hermit, like in The Last Jedi, which was not a good movie. Why did they have to acknowledge that movie? Ugh. Of course. Any property that has been affected by woke culture has to reference The Last Jedi. Then we get a scene where the Ryan and Yaz and the survivors enter Demon's Run, basically, to find out that there are hundreds and hundreds of cyber warriors who kind of resemble the Patrick Troughton Cybermen, and then they activate the basically the ship's, the asteroid's controls, and then Asher and the other Cybermen arrive on the asteroid, and they know they're here. And then the Doctor and the old hermit say that there's a way to basically get people to safety by creating this weird portal-y thing. And apparently the old hermit is the only one here. Is the only one there. Any human there. And then the Asher Cyberman, Asher, he basically activates all the Cybermen and prepares to take control of the asteroid by basically hacking into their inhibitor chips to make them feel the same hate that he feels. And then Graham and Yaz and the others realise that they are in mortal danger. And then the Doctor creates a portal, which is to, in fact, Gallifrey. But before we know this, apparently we cut back to Brendan, who's an old man, but apparently the dad of Brendan is still young. But apparently we find out that not everything is as it seems, because apparently they do something that we're probably going to find out in the next part. And then as Gallifrey is shown to the Doctor in that, the Doctor and Ryan and the old hermit, the Master comes in and says the lines of this "Be afraid, Doctor," because everything is about to change. Yeah. And so the episode ends, and before it ends, the Cybermen get in and try to attack them, and then we go into a cliffhanger, and the episode ends. Anyway, yeah, that was really interesting. Yeah, I must say, highlights of the episode. I liked kind of a backstory of Brendan. I kind of like how Brendan was linked into. I wonder how Brendan is linked into all of this. I must say, Jodie Whittaker did a fantastic job. The Cybermen, I like the design of the Cyber Warriors. They were just the best thing about this episode. Yeah. Even though, as I said, they are basically becoming Daleks, basically. CGI, good. CGI, good. Story, though. The story, although good, it was good. It would have been better if the Brendan thing and the this thing and the whole cyber war thing. I wish it was like more represented in the next part, in the third part. But anyway, people of Earth, I hope you enjoyed this episode. But there's one left, isn't there?
Yes, there is.
So, before we move on to the next episode, the rating I would give this is maybe a 9 out of 10. Okay, let's move on. Oh boy. Here we go again. Another rant video. Chernobyl! As you can probably tell from our tone of voices, that we weren't really particularly happy the way the episode's direction went. Kind of retconned a few things in the episode. Kind of destroyed a bunch of canon, such as the Time Lord and the Doctor origins.
That I'm not particularly impressed about, but it did give us a couple of questions about certain characters in the episode, such as who is the old man? Is Ruth a future Doctor? And what will happen to Graham and Ryan, because they're both set to leave in the Christmas special Revolution of the Daleks, which I'm not impressed about.
Yeah, you would be Cyber Controller.
Just shush.
So the episode begins with the Master threatening the Doctor, saying that if she doesn't come with him, he is going to shrink Ryan and the old man and take the Doctor anyway. But the Doctor gladly accepts the Master's offer, and then they arrive to Gallifrey. Then the Cybermen arrive, and in the cyber ship, Graham and Yaz and the other human survivors hide from the Cyberman and a shard. Then the Master tells the Doctor that something's up with her brain, and that something is the Doctor's history, because apparently she doesn't know all of her history for some reason. What are you talking about? She's watched Doctor Who. In fact, she is Doctor Who.
Then Yaz and Graham decide that they should disguise themselves as Cybermen to trick a shard. Then Ryan and the old hermit and the other survivor prepare for war against the Cybermen by preparing bombs and other weapons.
Then the Doctor gets shown the Matrix, the Time Lord Matrix, which was introduced in the episode known as The Deadly Assassin. Now, if you remember, in The Deadly Assassin, the Time Lord Matrix was basically a way on looking into the past without seeing time travel occurring. And the Master tends to use this to discover the truth about the timeless child. And then the Master then speaks to a shard, telling him to basically meet him on Gallifrey, which he tells a shard. And then the Cybermen head to Gallifrey. Then Yaz and Graham have a very uncomfortable conversation where Yaz tells Graham he's a wonderful human being, and shouldn't that be wonderful person? Oh god, the writing has gone downhill, hasn't it? Yeah, no wonder the ratings are bad. So then, the Doctor, basically, is captured in the Matrix and, is shown who and what the timeless child is. Let's begin. I know this is skipping a couple of scenes, but we'll be back in a moment. So, the timeless child is an ancient being with like infinite regenerations, and it was discovered by a person named Tecteun, who experimented on the child many times, and as she experimented on the child regenerated into many different forms of diversity. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah. Oh yeah. They really upped the wokeness level in this, haven't they, now? You probably wonder how Tecteun discovered that the timeless child could regenerate. Well, apparently the timeless child was play fighting with one of the other children on Gallifrey, but apparently the child fell to their unexpected unexpected death, but Tecteun discovered that the child had magical regeneration powers. Then the memories stop, and we are unexpectedly revealed with who the timeless child is. It is basically thrust upon us, but the timeless child was obviously the Doctor. I had a feeling it was a Doctor, but I didn't know it turned out like this. Yeah, the timeless child, the being with incredible powers, incredible regeneration powers, was the Doctor. And not only that, she was the first Time Lord, the first one to give the Time Lords their regeneration energy. Yeah. That means Tecteun is Rassilon, because Rassilon was the first one to create a regeneration energy, and that means she was female in her previous life. Yeah, all these scenes about the timeless child, that just made me a bit concerned about the Doctor's past now, because I always remember her, or him, as a Time Lord from Gallifrey, the constellation of Castorberus, and changing all of that will just wreck the entire canon.
During each of these 3 scenes, the Cybermen were looking for Ryan, Grim and Yaz. Yaz and Grim were hiding in the cyber suits, while Ryan was throwing bombs at the Cybermen to make them explode. Meanwhile, back on Gallifrey, the Master is informed of what a Shard is planning. He plans to eradicate all organic life, including within their own bodies, because they want to be more machine than human. And apparently, the Master found that ridiculous. I find this ridiculous, because this is basically ripping off Dark Raven Productions' Second Empire, where the Daleks want to be more metal.
Yes, I can see that. Not only do they rip off the Daleks, but they also rip off Dalek animators, people who animate Dalek stories, like the Second Empire and Dark Raven Productions. How dare Chibnall do that? Ripping off other people's ideas. That's nice, isn't it? So then the old hermit gives Ryan and one of the survivors a gun to try and destroy the Cybermen. But then they get captured by the Cybermen and find out that four of the Cybermen are actually Ryan, Graham and Yaz and the other survivors. Then we cut to the Master having another conversation with Shard. Then the Master then kills a shard because he wants a Cyberium. The Master wants a Cyberium to create his own, basically his own Time Lord cyber army. Then we jump back into the Doctor's mind, and we get a flashback scene, where one of the Time Lords says to the past Doctor that you can have your memory wiped, and we find out that Brendan from the previous episode was the Doctor all along, and all it was just a Time Lord perception filter, like in the Family of Blood and Human Nature. And then the Doctor wakes up and finds out that all the Time Lords are regenerated into Cybermen, which are somehow called Cyber Masters. I don't know. I still think they should be called Cyber Lords, because Cyber Lords seems more fitting. I'm just going to call them Cyber Lords. So then the Doctor falls asleep again, while the Cyber Lords basically try and take over Gallifrey. And then the others basically hop through a portal into Gallifrey, and while that's happening, the Roof Doctor appears in the Doctor's mind, and basically gives a pep talk on saying that all the Master did was a lie. He lied to you, so it's not real. So then the Doctor basically gives it her all by destroying the Matrix, and then collapses. Then, as usual, she gives a polite full fan while she was saying that. Then the Doctor and the others enter the TARDIS to basically escape Gallifrey, and apparently the TARDIS kind of resembled the Roof Doctor's TARDIS. Then the Doctor tells Ryan, Graham and Yas and the others that apparently a shard can be used as a bomb. Well, apparently a shard is shrunk, if you remember, because the Master shrunk him, and apparently somehow the reason why a shard is needed is because of episode. Just kidding. It was actually because the something to do with attracting DNA or something. Never mind. It was just a plot device, basically. And then basically the Doctor says goodbye to her companions and leaves to face the Master one last time. Then we get a scene between the Master and the Doctor. The Master basically tells the Doctor that your canon is in shambles, your history is broken, Doctor Who is dead, nothing can return. He's basically embodying most of the angry fanboys on Twitter who get very mad at Chibnall for basically retconning the show. And to be honest, I can't blame him. But then the Doctor says, I got a bomb, I'm still the Doctor, and I'm going to blow up the Citadel. But before she does it, the old man comes in unexpectedly and basically tells the Doctor to run to the TARDIS, and basically says, I'll distract them while you run. That made me think, Could he be who I think he could be? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. He could be the Doctor. Yeah, maybe a future incarnation, like the Curator. Do you remember in Day of the Doctor, where the 11th Doctor met the Curator? Could be like that, yeah. Something tells me that old man could be the Doctor as well. And there could be a reason why he blew up Gallifrey. So then, as the old man was pressing the button, the Master and the Cybermen escape, but the old man, who somehow could be the Doctor, ends up blowing up the Gallifreyan Citadel. But then our Doctor, Jodie Whittaker, heads back to her own TARDIS and leaves the TARDIS that she picked up, which apparently was a tree, and then gets captured by the Jadoon for apparently a crime that she didn't know she committed. But I guess we'll have to find that out in Revolution of the... Whoa, not Resolution. Revolution of the Daleks. So, what did you think of the episode as a whole?
Well, firstly, I liked the Cybermen. They were very superior.
Yes, especially the Cyber Warriors. Wasn't particularly a fan of the Cyber Masters because basically they kind of retcon the Cybermen's objective, which is to upgrade humans, and
I liked the old man. He was kind of interesting. And if you're saying he's a Doctor Supreme, then that could be a possibility.
As for the Doctor, she was underused in the episode. She didn't have much to do. All she was just strapped to a chair and being given information about her history. Well, false history. We don't know. The Master could be the timeless child. That's my impression of it. Either way, Chibnall, you do not want to make an enemy of me. And you better not leave the fans angry. You better fix this. Now. Because I don't want to march over to the BBC and asking them for Chibnall's resignation. Alright, capiche? Good. Anyway, as I said, it did leave me with some questions, like, still, we don't know which Dr. Ruth is. It's so confusing, but I guess we'll have to find out in Series 13. Anyway, see you in the next video then. And before we end the video, Simon, do you want to give your rating?
Well, the rating I would give it would be a 7 out of 10.
After a long think of it, yeah, I may move it to maybe a 7. Yeah, wasn't the best. Then again, it was better than Hellbent. That's what one person said. Anyway, this series as a whole has been filled with lots of ups and downs from me. So, I'd probably give it about maybe 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, the series 12 gets a 7.5 out of 10. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video then. Goodbye. Thanks for the enjoyable video today. Don't forget to click below to subscribe to the official Dalek Supreme YouTube channel.